I released a game that players loved. They laughed, they shouted, and had a great time playing it. But when we launched it, nobody bought it after 5 years. The confusing part was that nothing felt wrong, but we were wrong about one fundamental thing. This video is about that mistake, and why so many good games fail the same way. You cannot trust your own gut feeling about whether a game is good. You're just too close to it. That's why we playtest, to get signals from the outside. But it took me more than a decade of working on games to understand this. Playtests don't automatically give you the truth. They give you data, and it's easy to read the data the wrong way. Friends and family are obvious examples. Even when you ask them to be brutally honest, they're still biased in your favor. Early on, other developers you trust can help, especially when they're testing an idea instead of a full game. Sharing a concept and discussing it is very valuable at this stage, but it often seems teams stop there. They only playtest internally. That's not actual playtesting. It's quality control. You'll find bugs, you'll find crashes, but you won't learn how real players engage with the game. Even if everybody has fun, players never play the way you expect them to. They misunderstand systems, they ignore tutorials, they optimize the wrong things. On the surface, this is what playtests reveals: usability issues, confusion, and broken flows. And that information is useful. The problem is that when you mistake that surface signal for something deeper. Disappointed! If you stop here, it feels like you learned enough. The game works. People are enjoying it. But this is where things get dangerous. Most playtesters are polite. Some are paid. Others already like your game or like you. Kindness becomes your enemy. I enjoyed it, feels like validation. But it cost the testers nothing to say. With the game I co-created, players genuinely enjoyed it, and we trusted their enjoyment as proof. It wasn't. Enjoyment is not demand. So where did we actually go wrong? If this chapter made you uneasy, that's usually a good sign. If you want an honest take on where your game actually stands, I offer paid one-on-one reality check calls. We'll look at your game, how you're testing it, what signals you're trusting, and whether the market is responding at all. No hype, no motivation, just grounded feedback. Imagine working out in the gym, lifting almost weightless dumbbells and expecting your muscles to grow. Playtesting works the same way. If there's no resistance, everything feels good and you learn nothing. Once you trust the wrong kind of player feedback, it starts shaping decisions you never properly questioned. Because our playtests were positive, we felt confident, and that confidence made trade-offs easier to postpone. Our game was a party brawler. The core value was simple, playing against your friends. Online multiplayer was always hard. We didn't plan for it early, and adding it later meant major technical risk and cost. Because playtest went well, it never felt urgent. Local multiplayer was fun, players laughed. Nothing in testing pushed back hard enough. In other words, there was no resistance. We also assumed it wouldn't matter as much on Nintendo Switch. The local play would be enough, so we put most of our chips there. That assumption felt reasonable, and nothing in testing challenged it. That false safety made room for scope creep. We added a story mode, a world map, progression systems, features that nobody asked for. But that felt justified because the game was already working. Each of those decisions made sense in isolation. Together that pulled focus away from the core experience. Instead of investing fully in online multiplayer, a baseline expectation, we treated it as something we could maybe add later. And while our confidence stayed high, the market stayed quiet. Low wishlist, no traction, no pull. We read the silence as a marketing problem. In reality, it was a demand problem. The wrong feedback didn't just mislead us, it reduced urgency, enabling scope creep, and quietly justified every decision that followed. After that experience, I got trust issues with playtests. Not because they were useless, but because I had used them for the wrong thing. Before playtests were about reassurance. Did people like it? Did they have fun? Now playtests are about reducing uncertainty. In essence, figuring out what doesn't work. I still test the full game, but only when the core is already solid. Full game playtests are for pacing, flow, and friction, not for deciding what the game should be. Earlier than that, I test one thing at a time. Movement, a simple mechanic, one core loop. It tells me if something is working, not if it will sell. Playtesting also became a way to cut ideas. Things that sounded good on paper, like bigger worlds or extra systems, but didn't actually add value to the game. I also changed who I tested with, people I don't know, people with no reason to be kind. And instead of asking what they thought, I watched what they did. Do they stop the moment the test ends? Or do they keep playing without being asked? Do they give polite praise? Or do they start talking about what could be cool in the game? I still listen to feedback, I still take notes, but validation is no longer the goal. I read between the lines. The goal is clarity. What to cut, what to keep, what actually matters. Playtesting didn't become proof of success. It became a way to avoid being confidently wrong. Don't blindly trust player feedback, not because players are wrong, but because feedback without friction creates false confidence. Playtesting is essential, but it's not proof that your game will sell. Experience doesn't stop you from making this mistake. It teaches you what questions to ask, and when positive feedback should make you more cautious, not less. I learned this the hard way. You don't have to. If you're working on a commercial game and maybe you thought about going full-time or are full-time right now, then you should watch this video next, where I talk about when it's a mistake and when it actually makes sense to go full-time.